Welcome to Locker Code, where football is not just fantasy, but our reality, where you can express your excitement, your tensions, or even frustrations about the games, your team, your league, and performances of players. Let's go! Yo, welcome back, my boys. What's good?
Good, man. Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Watching these basketball games, they've been exciting, man.
Yeah, yesterday.
No major stars, but it's still exciting as hell, dude.
Man. Aiton's last second dunk. That was Clippers almost lost that one. Suns almost lost that one, but man.
Who you guys think winning the championship?
I think the Suns, man.
I'm going for the Suns anyways. There's something about Clippers. I don't know why. I just don't like the squad.
So no love for what's his team's name?
Bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the finals?
Yeah.
Listen, I think the Bucks are going to win it all. I think this is the opportunity.
You think the Bucks are going to win it all?
I think the Bucks
not with Chris Paul coming back, bro.
Yeah, I think when Chris Paul comes back, I get that.
It's hard to say that too, yo. I feel you, but I do want the Suns because it's like CP3 deserves that championship.
Deserves it.
Yeah,
I'm
pulling for this dude. That's the only, I'm telling you, that's why I want the Suns to win. I'm pulling for this dude.
And look what
he's the only one. I mean, other than what's his name, Carmelo, but he's the only one in the circle of friends that hasn't won a championship. Yeah, and I think he deserved one, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think he really deserved one.
He can't catch a break right now,
dude. The dude cannot catch a break.
You know what's crazy? It was crazy about that. It was like, yo, the COVID situation, like again, dude, like. You know, you about to lose this finals, championship again because of some type of injury, whatever case like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But with that, you know, Kawhi's not there, and then tonight Kawhi's not here again, so it doesn't look good. And I don't think PG-13 can continue what he's doing. Like he's been playing way better.
He's playing lights out, man.
He's playing he's a pacer again, right?
They haven't confirmed Kawhi's injury yet, right?
No, they haven't confirmed the injury. They just said he's out. You know what I mean? So if he's out again and the Suns win tonight,
it's tomorrow.
Right? It's tomorrow. And the Suns win tomorrow, man. It's 3-0.
Yeah, there's no coming back. Coming back.
That's tough for Kawhi to even try that one there. I just don't feel like PG-13 got it in him again for another big game. I mean, to be honest with you,
he lost that one last night, though.
If it wasn't for Man. For last round, he would never went through this one. Say it again.
He had that one to win last night, and he missed two free throws.
But with that, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, you're looking at PG averaging the last two games, 30, 35, I think, right? Yeah. So can he do it again for a third game? I don't know.
Never know, man. The dude can. That's why he get paid the big bucks. He can.
What do you guys think about this Ben Simmons situation?
Personally, I've always known Ben Simmons is not a point guard, bro. He can't shoot. He can dunk inside. He can't.
That man's been ridiculed for the last 2 hours. Like, tomorrow.
Trade offers, trade scenarios,
bro.
In every little area, bro.
I think everybody in Philly want to murder this dude.
Yeah.
It's like Philly fans don't joke, man. Philly fans don't joke.
That was literally after the game. That wasn't like a day later. It was as soon as the game ended, like all type of clips was coming up. Like,
man,
Simmons is done. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I see him burning Simmons' jersey, man. Like I was like, wow, the dude is still on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your opinion on that, though? I mean, do you feel like? Because when he was coming out, they tried to make him like the best player. Everybody kind of knew like he can't shoot from the outside. Well, he's not a mid-range shooter.
I think he hasn't. I think he needs to really work on that. I think he's gotten away with it so far. Yeah. But he needs to that's all he needs to do in the off season.
Yeah, if he takes the summer and get like a good coach and work on that for the dude can be a good all around player. But it's just. Yeah. You see, that's the thing about like the greats, right? The Jordans and the Kobes and all these players. Whenever they see a lack in their game, these guys go out and make sure they master it. They work on it. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing, because even LeBron. Remember, LeBron didn't have any three in his game, and that boy just started shooting threes.
Yeah.
Like, he worked on it. So
yeah, but
that's
it was
the thing, man.
with LeBron, we saw what he can do. He was damaging no matter what, whatever position that he was in. He was just working on that aspect of his game. But I still think Simmons is not damaging anywhere. Simmons is not, to me personally, he's not a star, right?
Right.
I believe he should change his position. I don't think he's a point guard. I think he should just go right into a shooting guard, even though he needs to work on that mid-range, but he gets a better scenario when he's going out, going inside to hold a dunk or something. But
yeah,
I just don't think he's a point guard, man. He's funny enough, they should have kept Fultz. And Fultz is doing great in Orlando.
Doing great, yeah. The playoffs expose your weaknesses.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You will see who can really play ball, because everybody's coming with their best game.
And then
they're not taking nights off. They're not taking plays off. They're not taking nights off.
The shot that Durant hit, that was a 2 and not a 3.
Not a 3.
If that was a 3, they would have been all over Antetokounmpo and breaking the team up. And you see the difference. So one play, one shot,
one shot.
Yeah. So
that fadeaway shot
they would have got rid of the coach, and so
it would have been crazy.
Save his job, man. Save his job.
We got an awesome show today, man. We got NFC East Division. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Washington, Giants, Cowboys, and the Eagles, man. We actually had a great show, Monday, with the Locker Code.
Battle Monday, man.
Monday.
Yeah, Battle Monday is okay.
Fantasy side, man. And how did you guys feel about that?
Good.
I liked it, man. I like it a lot. There's some tweaks that we need to, that was our first Battle Mondays. There's some tweaks that we need to make. But other than that, man, it was phenomenal. I like the two guys going at it. Some agreements and some disagreements, and looking forward to the next Battle Monday, man. Did we already identify the participants?
I think I haven't spoken to them yet. So I just want to, before I put it out there, I just want to confirm with them and see if we can knock that out. So it should.
All right. Discuss it with them, and what I'll do, I will get you the questions tomorrow.
Yeah.
For you to forward to them so they can do their research and get
But yeah, man, let's get into the first quarter, bro. We got Washington Redskins that went 7-9. Obviously, we know that was a big surprise with the Washington football team. Then we got the New York Giants that went 6-10. Cowboys went 6-10, and obviously the Eagles fly, went 4-11-1.
You and that 4-11-1, bro. What's a big shock though that Washington went 7-9? Because it's not an impressive record. It was just a losing division. Would you say?
It was. What's funny about this division is that it's a losing division, but it had a lot of fantasy impact, right?
A lot of fantasy impact, yeah.
A lot of fantasy impact. They're 7-9. The reason why I'm impressed by their 7-9 is because of the struggles that they face. Because the dude, it was three different quarterbacks that started throughout the season, and they keep getting injuries and all that. So, I'm glad. It was surprising that they won that division, knowing that they were probably the most unstable one out of there. Their defense brought them to those W's. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was your expectation with these guys? Not just Washington, but Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. I know we talked a lot about the Cowboys as far as what we expected from Zeke.
Right.
What we got from Zeke. What we didn't expect Dak to play the way he's played, but then when Dak got hurt, we expected Zeke to go full power, and we didn't get that at all. So, what was your expectations on just Cowboys in general?
Cowboys, I think if Dak stayed healthy, Cowboys would have finished with a winning record, and I think they would have probably won the division. Zeke was a letdown because, like I said 2 years ago, it was a debate between whose team is it? Is it Dak's team or is it Zeke's team, Right. And you could clearly see that Dak is the fighting guy. And a little off topic, but in situations that come up as far as money and paying running backs and why quarterbacks get paid the way they get paid, that's a clear example of it. So, Dak was out and, Zeke didn't look the same. The team didn't look the same.
Right.
but Tony Pollard showed up. So the question is that if Dak was healthy and Zeke was the one that's out, injured, God forbid it, and Tony Pollard came in, would they even miss a beat?
Right.
So those are a lot of things, from a owner's perspective when it comes to money and stuff like that. You have to show up. You have to prove, that hey, I'm worth this money. So just something to look into.
Yep, I agree with you, man.
For me, man, looking at Cowboys, I had picked Cowboys to win that division for sure.
Yeah.
Just considering the amount of weapons that they had, considering the draft, and considering what happened the previous year in 2019. So I expected the Cowboys to win. I agree with PJ when if Dak was there, definitely I think they would have won that division for sure. Also agree with his analogy in regards to running backs versus quarterbacks. For Cowboys, though, I think the line had a lot to do with their failure. Just watching the games and their defense. They didn't have any defense at all. Like from the season started, granted, Dak was able to get the balls to the wide receiver, but if you look at the every team that they went up against, it was high scoring games. They went up against. I remember, I think it was the first game of the season when they play Atlanta. And man, the amount of fantasy scores that came out of that game, you were like, oh my God, So, and then you can see, like, before Dak went down, he was projected to have over 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, you know what I mean? So, it was just their defense. Their defense just sucked bad, man. And their offensive line, a bunch of their offensive line opt out. So this season is a different season for them. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Maybe they rise to the occasion, but a lot of people are, poo-pooing the Washington football team because Dak is coming back and because they, Cowboys did some things on defense and they're getting most of their weapons back. But I don't think Washington is that far off, man. Considering what they did in the offseason and their defense is a bully. They're going to be one of the top 5 defenses in the league. So I don't think it's going to be that easy for the Cowboys to just come in and just sweep from on a. They got Fitzmagic, man. Like how that is. Yeah. Fitzmagic is about to light it up. This is not Alex. More proud of Alex, but this is not Alex that's going to dump the ball down. This is not what was it, Allen? Josh Allen. It was Josh. No, not Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I do remember what Allen for Carolina.
Brandon Allen.
No. It's it was a quarterback. Kyle Allen. Yeah. It's not Kyle Allen that you know what I mean. That's inexperienced or anything like that. This is Fitzmagic, and Fitzmagic has weapons. And they have a good running game. They have good wide receivers on that team now, so I'm expecting them to do a lot of good things, man. And now you have Curtis Samuel, you have Scary Terry, and now you have a tight end. Yeah, you know what I mean? That tight end. So now they have like a team that match up to the Cowboys offensively, and they have a better defense than the Cowboys. So I don't think it's going to be that easy for the Cowboys this year, as far as the Cowboys, as far as everybody's thinking it's going to be.
All right, well, let's get into Washington right now, right? So their new additions were, obviously, as you stated, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Adam Humphries, Curtis Samuel, Lamar Miller re-signed under their team. Then you had Cam Sims. In the draft, they added an inside linebacker from Kentucky, was Davis. They added offensive tackle in the second round, a corner in the third round, a wide receiver in the third round with Diane Brown from North Carolina, and another wide receiver from BYU in the 7th round, right? So they're adding, they added another corner. Obviously, their defense is well played. Added an inside linebacker to work that defense now with that edge rusher that they currently already have now that they drafted the year before in 20. Right? So with these additions, especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick, how do you feel? I mean, just as a team, but then also on fantasy side. Like, do we feel like Ryan? What type of player do we feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick is? Is that he a late round fantasy pick, top quarterback 1? Where do you rank Ryan Fitzpatrick right now, and where do you rank Washington as in general?
For me, all right. So I look at their addition, right? I look at their offseason. What their offseason is telling me is like, all right, we had the defense last year. Everybody know what our defense can do. Now let's beef up the offense. Let's get somebody that can push the ball down the field. Give the running backs room, because they drafted an offensive tackle in the second round. Let's give our running back some room to run. And we have Logan Thomas as our tight end, which is really, really dynamic that you can move around the field. Now, yeah, I would say Dallas has better weapons. I would even say the Giants probably have similar weapons to Washington. But I feel with the defense and what they have right now, you can see what their philosophy is. They're going to go ahead and push the ball. And if you know who Fitzmagic is, Fitzmagic is not scared to pass the ball, man. So it's going to be a good season for Scary Terry McLaurin. It's going to be a good. I just don't know who the number 2 is going to be. It could be Curtis. You know, it could be Curtis Samuel, right? Or it could be Cam Sims because Cam Sims wasn't terrible last year, and it could be Adam Humphries. It could be anybody, but I'm going to lean to Curtis Samuels being in the slot. I think Curtis Samuels out in Carolina was misguided of what his position is. What he did last season, just moving around, you know what I mean, being that Swiss Army knife kind of a guy. I think that's the best way to use that guy so he can, you know, use him as a matchup piece. And I think that's where they're going to go ahead, and the offense is going to be prolific moving forward.
Go ahead, Pete.
So yeah. To Ren's point, I think they're going to be the all-around the best football team in that division. I think this is the best squad that Fitzmagic is going to actually play with, and this is going to be one of his probably his best shot at something.
And keeping the job for a second year.
And even at a title, I mean, to me, they have a team to contend with the Green Bays and the Pat Mahomes and the Tampa Bays and, you know, all those the Buffalo Bills. They have it. They have the defense. Now they have the offense. So I expect them to win this division. It's win the division or bust for me.
Right.
And I expect them to make some noise in the playoffs.
Who? Let me ask you a fantasy kind of a question. Who would you see as the number 2 wide receiver on that squad? Seeing the changes that they've made.
I would say Curtis Samuel.
You don't pay that guy to come down there and not be the second guy.
And then
be the second, yeah.
And not only that, the familiarity with the coach. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, he's going back to his old coach.
Going back to his old coach, same type of play calls. You know, Adam Humphries, he re-signed, but, you know, Adam Humphries is not better than Curtis Samuel. Diane Brown coming from North Carolina, he's a rookie right now. If anything, he'll probably get that's the third receiver.
The third one, yeah.
It's Curtis Samuel. They're gonna find trick plays to get in for Curtis Samuel to make this, you know, make it easier for Fitzpatrick, make it easier for Gibson out there. So I'm going with Curtis. Easy.
Yeah. If Gibson comes in healthy, into the season healthy,
top 10 running back for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
And the offense should be clicking. They should be a very tough football team to beat, man.
Man, imagine if Fitz was there last year, how far Washington would have actually gone because of all the injuries that division had, and the non-players that division had. What do you think about, as you said, with Antonio Gibson? You know, if he's not injured, he's the top 10. Do you think Antonio is going to be that C-Mac of Washington if he's able to be healthy?
Yeah, if his turf toe is not like a bother, man, because that's the thing, man. That's the only reason that I'm scared of him. The turf toe injury happened so long ago, and you're still having issues with it in minicamp, and you have to still nursing it and still be careful what you're doing with it and all that stuff. When the season starts, when you have to go full throttle, like what's going to happen then? That right there scares me. Right now, Antonio Gibson is going as running back 12. He's going like, 2.4 is the average draft position. You know what I mean? So when I'm looking at that, I don't know, man, because it's either him, Cam Akers, Joe Mixon, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're all going around the same time. And right there, I'll probably step back for a little bit and really analyze that. And Gibson, while he has a great ceiling, like the ceiling is high in that offense, it's just that toe is low. That toe is low to the ground, man. That's the best way I can put it.
He's a mid-late second round pick, and to pick someone and they're not active and they have an injury-riddled season, that could cost you. That could cost you your fantasy
season for real. And consider not only that, man. Like if you're drafting him, you either gonna draft him as your second running back, right? And the scarcity at running back right there, I don't know, man. I would rather go with an Akers or a Mixon, even though that line sucked too. But
But also with that,
He could
one of
also
the
be
greatest
someone's
steals are
primary
probably
running back too.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be somebody's primary back, and that would scare me for him to be the anchor of my team, like that primary back, that running back one on my
And
team.
he's out.
That would definitely scare me for sure. I want to go with a healthy guy. I don't even think Mixon is in the mix for me. If he's going to be my lone back.
That also makes McKessick one of the most valuable running back right now in the draft.
Yeah.
If he's hurt, especially
Right.
late running back.
Right, yeah.
You would definitely want to handcuff.
Yeah.
And McKissick has his own value. Dude has his own value too,
already,
right?
Yeah.
He already has his own value. Granted, Fitzpatrick is not going to check down like Alex Smith for sure, but Fitzpatrick still dumped down a bit. If you look at what happened with Gaskins. Even when he was in Tampa, if you look what happened in Tampa, Ronald Jones just couldn't catch the ball. Like he has brick for hands. So he had a lot of opportunities, but he couldn't catch the ball. So yeah, there's going to be standalone value for McKissick. So he's somebody that I'm looking at as a running back 3-4 to just have that depth, within in that category for sure.
Gotcha. All right, man. Let's roll with the New York Giants. Right, your boy Galladay is out there now.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, Galladay's out there as far as new additions. Kyle Rudolph is there. John Ross is there. Devontae Booker that they signed. But as far as draft, man, they went loaded defense, but they also drafted wide receiver from Florida in the first round. A linebacker, Aziz, in the second round. Cornerback in the third. Another linebacker in the fourth. Another running back in the sixth round, and then a corner in the sixth round. So they tried to beef up their defenses right now. But I think one of the biggest issues, just as fantasy-wise, Kenny Galladay. Obviously, we all been looking at Kenny since last year. Like, yo, he's going to be crazy at the Lions for the whole year. To this day, we have no idea what's wrong with Kenny. So, is Kenny still, like, what is it that, what do we expect from Kenny Galladay? Like, what is his health concerns? Is like, do we expect what do we expect?
We don't know what to expect. That he's going to be one of those players. News, I don't know what the news is going to say, but if we were drafting tomorrow, he's going to be a guy that you see fall round after round after round. And then people are going to be hesitant because, so you ask yourself, what round is it safe to draft a player like that in, To me, it's not the first five.
No.
So
even then, you got a lot of players that are slipping in the 6th, 7th round anyway. So you're then going to be like, okay, well, hey, do I look at what could be or what do I have right now? So even then, I still feel like he may slip even down to like the 10th to 11th round when he's around with the rookies that kind of like, hey, I can, maybe make this choice right now.
News when preseason starts will change that. So if he's out there and he's playing and all of that, then his draft ADP is going to boost and go up. But I mean, as of right now,
even right now, we haven't heard anything. Anything in minicamp, and I think
nothing.
We haven't heard anything. So
we haven't heard it.
Starts,
nobody knows if Galladay can run or not right now. Nobody knows. And the thing about Galladay, I'm not high on Galladay. And the reason why I'm not high on Galladay, take my personal reasons out. I'm gonna add some. But look, who was his quarterback, man? His quarterback on the Lions was Stafford. Stafford pushed the ball downfield. You can see that's his MO, from the Calvin Johnson days. Like that's just his MO, and that's the kind of game that Galladay played. Now he's going with Donald Jones, Daniel Jones. So what's going to happen there? So that is an unknown. His injuries are unknown because I haven't heard anything about Galladay injury, if he's healthy or not. You see what I'm saying? So those two things concern me. So regardless if he comes out and say, hey, Galladay is looking fine and whatever, he's still not in the top 4 rounds for me. The reason why I say that too, it's a new quarterback, it's a new system. Hopefully Saquon comes back, and their run first team and their line sucks. You know what I mean? I don't know if Jones can get him the ball. because he hits that go route, and that's where he eats his food. You know what I mean? I don't know if Jones will be able to get him down there. So, and then they have a plethora of wide receivers on that team too. They have a lot of wide receivers on that team. So I don't know how it's going to shake out or how they're going to feed all those bounds. So I understand he is the highest paid wide receiver on that team. I don't know if he's going to be, give you that wide receiver one number. And if I'm drafting him in like the top, if I'm drafting a wide receiver in the top 4 rounds, I'm expecting like average like 20 fantasy points per game. And I don't know if he's going to be able to give me that.
I don't think he will. Yeah, not right now.
That's what I'm saying. So
I got
even healthy.
Yeah,
even healthy. Right.
Considering
the new system, considering the new back, the new quarterback and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So
considering Saquon.
Yeah, considering Saquon.
You brought up Jones, right? Does he have a sneaky upside now? Or, obviously we talked about Galladay, but just with the new additions, Saquon coming back. Now Jones is not running the ball and hitting that Buffalo Wild Wings commercial anymore when he trips over by himself. But do we see him just throwing the ball deep? We got a speedy receiver from Florida. We also got the previous receivers that was on the squad still there. And adding Galladay, we don't, as we stated, don't know what he's going to do. But does he have a sneaky upside, or listen, it's just Daniel Jones at the end of the day?
You want to say this, CJ, and then I jump in?
I don't think he has a sneaky upside. I think it's going to be a run first team with Saquon there. He has a plethora of wide receivers, but their defense is good. I don't see him being a guy that's going to just throw a bunch of passes. And even last year they had a bunch of receivers. I mean, you only added Galladay, and now they have Saquon. So he's not going to be. I don't know who I would compare it. Like he's still in that Jared Goff conversation. He's going to be a waiver wire type of guy. He's not someone I'm looking at.
All right, we talked about Saquon. Like, is Saquon? What do you expect from Saquon if he's healthy? Do we expect rookie Saquon if he's healthy, or?
I expect to see him as a top 3, top 4 running back, fantasy and NFL.
Yeah, because remember, Saquon is an all-around back, man. Yeah, fluke injury happened, and maybe he was just getting overworked or something. But I think if he's healthy, he's gonna come out, and he's gonna come out as a force. The sad thing, though, one of the struggles that the Giants had last year is again, their offensive line. Their offensive line wasn't that great. So they didn't do anything for the offensive line in the draft, right? Nothing, right? Everything was like on the defensive side of the ball, the linebackers, cornerbacks, and all that good stuff, which they needed as well. So to touch on Barkley, Barkley's going to come out. He's going to get his workload. The good thing about Barkley is an all-around back. A lot of people saying that he doesn't run up the middle. He can't run up the middle when they can't push the line, the defensive line. So why is he going to force himself up the middle? So he's going to slash, and then he's going to run on the outside and do what he does. And that's where I think he's going to eat a lot of his points. His PPR points is going to go up. His catches are going to go up. And, yeah, you may see similar numbers like his rookie year. As for Daniel Jones, I just want to add, as I believe, I agree with PJ in regards to I don't see much of an upside because, again, yeah, how many wide receivers they're going to surround him with now? Like, they have so many wide receivers. They have Galladay and John Ross that's going to run down the field like crazy, right? They have the two, Shepard and Slayton that's always been there. Now they added Kyle Rudolph as a tight end, so Evan Ingram is not even on my radar. And Dante Pettis, like you gave him so much weapons, and I really don't think he's still not going to know how to use it. It's like telling somebody to fix up an IKEA desk and with no instructions. So that's just how I see Daniel Jones, and I think this is his season to prove. And if he doesn't prove it, which I don't think he will, they're moving on from him after this year.
What do you think about John Ross?
John Ross has been a hype letdown for years upon years upon years. I'm not touching him with
since what?
Since I don't know, like he's not even someone I have no interest in picking John Ross whatsoever. Not even around 15 or 16.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's interested in picking up John Ross, but it definitely is a big disappointment to see, what your expectation was when he got drafted, right? You're a speedy receiver. You thought he was going to be a great slot receiver with AJ Green out there in Cincinnati and Boyd, and he was a letdown. You know what I mean? And now he's coming up to New York, and I don't really think they got him, but I don't think he really has a spot. So I think he's going to be one of those camp casualties, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you see, I was just analyzing last season, and I'm looking at the wide receivers that did well and the wide receivers that are at the bottom of the pack. The speedy receivers like Tyreek Hill, and Lockett. Those are probably the top two that did well. But if you notice, a lot of the other speedy receivers last year didn't do anything, man. Those receivers that can stretch the field. And starting from Hollywood Brown all the way to, John Brown was kind of injured.
Fuller had a great season.
Who?
Fuller.
Stop it.
Yeah. See, the thing about it is, and
you can have a great season if you have help.
Yeah.
So if you take the help out, I don't know what kind of season you're going to have. You take listen, the dude, they caught him with substance. Right at that point, you're nothing. Like, you're not even relevant to me because I don't know. You cheating is just like, nah, dude. I don't look at your numbers and say that you did it. You did it on your own. I don't know what he did. I don't know what they found or whatever. But I don't feel like he did it on his own. So that's why I didn't even consider him. Yeah. PJ was the detriment of his best game ever. But I think that's untrue.
I'm not a fan for Fuller, boy. He's not a fan.
Feel like all the Fuller numbers should have been just wiped out.
So with speedy receivers, how many bombs are you going to catch?
Right. It's a hit or miss.
On a consistent basis at that. So I've never been a fan of the Deshaun Jacksons, the speedy type of receivers, because a lot of quarterbacks can't go that far or that deep. That's number one.
Right. Yeah. Right. Or they don't have the time.
Yeah, they don't have the time. It's too much variables. So you'll catch one every 4 games,
Yeah, they're too inconsistent for me. Because even if you look at, all right, I mentioned Lockett. Lockett was inconsistent as hell last year.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's their MO, man. These speedy receivers. I'd rather take the big position receivers, that plays in the intermediate, that no matter who is on them, they can get up and get the ball, and they're gonna get challenged. They're not gonna just run away left. They're gonna get challenged, but they can go up. The Metcalfs of the world, the Hopkins of the world. These guys can go up against somebody holding onto their coattail and still able to catch the ball. Those are the wide receivers that I like.
All right. Well, we got Dallas Cowboys coming up, man, and we talked a little bit about Dallas already. With Dak Prescott's situation, but Dak Prescott finally re-signed, right? That was a whole big talk of the offseason. They added Canu Neal, safety, CJ Goodwin, corner, and Jordan Lewis, corner. In the draft, they got their first round, which we thought it was going to be a cornerback. They ended up getting drafted a linebacker from
linebacker.
They did go cornerback, Kelvin Joseph in the second round. Added a defensive tackle, defensive end, another corner in the third round, linebacker, offensive tackle, and then Simi Foco in the fifth round, wide receiver. Really don't know why they went after him. They call him the baby of DK Metcalf, but I don't even see him having any type of room in that full of wide receivers on that squad. But with the additions that they have, they added on, do you think this is a good addition for the Dallas Cowboys to even fight in that division?
What did I say was one of their detriment last year? Their defense, right? So so them beefing up that defense, getting linebackers, which they didn't have last year, getting corners that they didn't have last year. I think that their draft, they went into the draft with a plan, and the plan is working out. And I agree with everything that they did. They didn't do the shiny new toy and the hype reel like they did last year. You know what I mean, with CD. But I think this year they're going to have a really, really good year, especially with Dak coming back. If Dak stays healthy and the defense, most of the linemen are coming back. I think the center retired, if I'm not mistaken. Right. But most of their most of their players are coming back. I think they're going to be, and coming off an injury, because a lot of them got injured last year as well. I think they're the team that's going to give the Washington a fight, and it's going to be between them and Washington for that division. I think there's a lot of fantasy impact after Dak comes back. I think Dallas defense is going to be a really good defense coming into this year, probably in top 15, somewhere around there. And I think they're going to Dak is going to put up the points. And I think Zeke, on the other hand, man, I don't know what to think. Or like, I understand what he did before Dak went down, but I don't know. The dude just looked old last year. He looked unfit last year. It just seemed like he was not hitting the line like he used to. Maybe it's motivation. His boy went down, and he was just not motivated to play. But Zeke scares me a bit, and to consider that he's still going in the first round. He may still be a first round talent as running back, but I'm questioning that.
I want to pick Zeke as a first round pick for me, simply because I agree with everything that Ren said, and I think Zeke has to come out and somewhat prove himself.
Yeah,
not to the spectators, but to the coaching staff, and in the preseason, because Pollard comes out or he makes a mistake and Pollard goes in and Pollard does well, it's a wrap. So. Yeah. I can't risk that with my.
And it's not like it's Garrett. It's not like it's Garrett out there, that has a real big relationship with Zeke. Garrett is not out there anymore. You know what I mean? So that's the other thing.
Interesting.
Right.
So because he only dealt with one running back.
And he likes big backs like Zeke too. Because if you Eddie Lacy back in the Green Bay days.
Yeah.
Man, it was Eddie Lacy.
I'm just surprised that he wasn't used that way, but it may be because of the fact of it's a new system, and realistically, the offensive coordinator that was not working out well. So I think that's what was probably the biggest problem. Dak was out, so they weren't running the ball. When they did run the ball, it was like he didn't know where he was at or didn't want to play. So
true.
How many years have Dak been in the league?
Dak, I want to say 5, yeah.
He's got some mileage, man. He's got some mileage.
He does, but I don't think that's what affected him last season. I really do think, like, if he comes back and Dak is there and, the offensive play calls is good and he's not playing
Zeke?
well.
You meant Zeke. Oh, I thought.
Yeah, I apologize. Zeke, I apologize.
Well, yeah, even with that, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Dak is there... Yeah, if Dak is there this season and offense is playing well, and then you see Zeke playing like he did last year, this year, with all the variables that are there, then you're like, yo, something's wrong, right? Then you got to really think about, that's when you think about as a general manager, I need to trade him.
But as a fantasy owner, though, you're picking in the first round.
Oh, yeah, I can't do it. I'm scared. He hit me hard last year. I had him. Big expectations, you know what I'm saying? And I end up, not having a running back. Like, I'm trying to find running backs to fit into that position before. And I couldn't find any, because he'll come in a game, and you're like, all right, cool. I need him. This is a sorry defense. He's going to play well. And, he ended up having, 10 yards, 2 fumbles. And I'm like, yo, all I needed from you was 5 points.
And there are games that he didn't even start. There are games that Pollard started over him. You know what I mean? So
and you're expecting,
it all depends.
Like you said before, when you get a first round pick as running back, especially Zeke, you're looking at 20. Your expectation is to get at least between 15 to 20 points.
Not only that, you don't think about taking him out unless it's a bye week.
Exactly.
He needs to be a top 3 pick.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But he's still in the top 10 ranges, top 8 ranges. But this year, I don't know. I think he's going to fall out of that. But your expectation is when you get someone in the first round like that, you're expecting to get that 18, 20 points, especially as a running back, right? So when you look at, I guess, who's it, C-Mac, you're expecting more than 20 points. Right? You're looking at Saquon. You're expecting more than that. You're looking at Kamara. You're expecting that. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at Zeke, and there's a couple other running backs that are out there, your expectation is that. Now, personally, Jonathan Taylor, like we talked about, I think a couple of weeks ago, is being drafted in that top 3, top 4. I don't expect Jonathan Taylor to get 25 points in Colts.
See, a lot of people feel like Marlon Mack being there is going to be a problem. I don't think so, man. I think it's the Jonathan Taylor show.
I don't think so. I think
Hines was there last year too, and Jonathan Taylor still produced.
He did, but I think from the passing side of it, Mack is there, and Mack can catch and run the ball. So I think Mack is going to be around. I just don't see Jonathan Taylor getting 25 points per game. I think
Jonathan Taylor is a safer pick than Zeke is.
Yes, I do, but I wouldn't take him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to turn this into the Jonathan Taylor show, but I agree with PJ on this one. I don't think Jonathan Taylor. I don't think Marlon Mack is gonna like take away. I think Marlon Mack is more of a relief back for Jonathan Taylor. Like when Jonathan Taylor want to take a breather. As far as Nyheim Hines, yeah, I agree with you. See that Hines is gonna take some of the catches, but Jonathan Taylor has hands, and I don't think. Yeah, they might bring Hines in somewhere in the red zone, but if they need to pound the ball into the red zone, it's going to be a Jonathan Taylor show. And I think if they're on the 1 yard line or something like that, anywhere in the 5 yard line, I think it's a Jonathan Taylor show. I don't think they're chancing it with anybody else. So I think even if he doesn't get the yard, he's going to get the touchdown. The dude is going to average at least a touchdown per game. So right there, you have 7 points, and if he averaged that plus 10, you're looking at 17. And not considering probably like 3 to 4 catches that he's probably going to get per game. So right there is 20. It's not a lot. It's not hard to get 20 points.
Right. Stop.
There's just certain backs that just don't get 30. And like Zeke couldn't do anything last year without Dak. So right now Zeke ADP is going 6 overall. I don't think like running back 6, I should say.
Who's the running backs that's going after?
Jonathan, no, actually Nick Chubb is going after him, and then Jonathan Taylor after Nick Chubb. So right now, based on ADP, these are the top 10 running backs in order. McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Henry, Barkley, Zeke, Chubb, Taylor, Eckler, and Aaron Jones. So those are the top 10 running backs right now. Most of those are going in the first round, to be honest with you. Most of those guys are going in the first round. Aaron Jones is going like 1.11, 1.12, like the end of the first round, like back-to-back type deal. So that's where I see it.
I would pick Chubb over Zeke.
Yeah, I would pick Chubb over Zeke. I would actually put Zeke and Aaron Jones at the back.
Yeah.
The
back end of the draft. Yeah, I agree with that too.
Zeke before Jones.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as Zeke, do you think Zeke's going to have that bounce back for this year, or do you feel like, hey, this is probably going to be
he could scenario? Like Zeke could, just based on what he did last year before Dak went down, right, and what he did in previous years. So I don't want to discredit him too much, but he could have that bounce back year. The mere fact that Pollard looked like he's up and coming, and the coaching staff seemed to like Pollard, I have to see how they're being used in this preseason game, man. If I feel like Pollard is getting a lot of first team reps, that's where it gets scary. If they're saying like, hey, if the beat writers come out and it's like, yeah, Pollard and Zeke are splitting the carries in training camp 50-50 with the first team. Zeke is not even in the first round for me. Like, yeah. You see what I'm saying? So I'm curious to see what Zeke comes out with. And again, the dude had COVID too, so I don't want to discount these guys too much.
Yeah.
At the same, he's healthy compared to a Gibson and a Mixon, and you know what I mean. He is healthy. It's not like he went down because of an injury. He looked like a shell of himself last year, and that's concerning.
Now, we talked about Zeke fantasy value, what round that we would pick. One of the biggest talks. What about Dak? Right? What round are you picking Dak fantasy values? CeeDee Lamb, the plethora of the receivers that they got, Amari Cooper, Gallup, even Tony Pollard on the running back side. What round do you go after Zeke? Not Zeke, but Dak Prescott.
You know that we're going to have a difference of opinion.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We know. Well, the question is for you, P, because I know what Ren's answer is.
I don't even know why you're asking me dumb questions.
Yeah, I know what Ren's answer is going to be. Ren's answer is going to be like,
I'll chime in. Even though my philosophy differs, I'll chime in. Go ahead, and I'll tell you where I'm at.
Listen, I think that there's a big gap when it comes on to the quarterbacks. I think there's elite level quarterbacks, and there's good quarterbacks, or great, and then good, and then average, and then so on.
Right.
In the elite, I think that you have Pat Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen. And the reason I say these four are elite is that Dak Prescott can give you 50 points any game. He's in a situation where he's going to have shootouts. A guy gives you 50 points, it's very, very hard for you to lose that week. And he's going to have to do that in Dallas. Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. Kyler Murray is another situation. So the volume, he needs to do so much for that team to win. Right. So when you look at a situation like that, a guy like that, I would draft in the top 5 rounds, of a draft, around 4, around 5. Because I think he's better than Aaron Rodgers. He's better than a Herbert, because he's going to give you points to single-handedly win a game. Right. Herbert and Aaron Rodgers, they're consistent. They're going to give you a consistent 20 points, consistent 22, 23, 24 points. But when you guys have a guy that can explode like that, I think he deserves a top 5 pick. Just like your Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going that 4 and 5 is around the best round, even 5 or 6. I mean, 6 is where everybody's going to be looking at quarterbacks anyways. So
yeah, so I don't think you would get him.
Yeah, you may not have that opportunity. You may have to draft him around earlier just to be like, yo, forget it. I'm just going to have to.
I don't know about you guys. Before, I know Ren wants to say, so I can see it on his face.
No, I don't want to say anything. I'm listening, bro. I'm listening.
I don't know about you guys, but I hate playing a team that has a good fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
Because, when you're when I'm about to play Mahomes, I'm like, damn, all right. So
I get that call.
Where these points going to come from? Because I know Mahomes about to put up. You understand what I'm saying? Like that.
Yep.
I'm going to be the guy to have that.
Yeah. Mahomes about to put up 40 points on the let's say Arizona or someone that's
exactly.
That's not good, and you're like, yo, this is not going to be a good week.
Exactly. So you looking at where these points, who's going to step up to bridge that? And I know because I had Josh Allen last year. Josh Allen freaking produced like crazy. Yep. So I want that. I believe certain guys should be drafted higher.
All right. Where you at?
And he's one.
For me, man, it's not even about the talent, and I hope you guys understand my difference in regards to drafting a quarterback. Not drafting a quarterback early has nothing to do with talent. It's that prediction of assuming whatever happened the previous year is what's going to happen this year. It never works out that way, and that's why I don't look at these high performers from previous years and say, hey, come this year, they're going to be those high performers, or they're going to be those elite level quarterbacks again. Because what I find we're all, subscriber to that website. Just take a look year after year and look at the top echelon of quarterbacks. You will see that those top 5 constantly rotate. They constantly rotate. So every year you call somebody elite, he will rotate out of the top 5, and somebody new, 1 or 2 new people, erupt in the top 5 and stuff like that. So that's my philosophy. I'm trying to get the diamond in the rough. I don't want to invest that high of a draft position on a quarterback, say for instance Lamar Jackson, and then he doesn't perform. Now I'm getting double hit at that point, right? I'm getting double hit from, all right, I thought this guy is going to be elite. I use an early draft pick on him, and he's a dud. Or he's not produced like how I expected him to produce. And not only I took a hit on that, I'm going to take a hit from not taking that elite wide receiver or that elite running back that I could have gotten too. So I'm getting double hit versus, hey, I'm going to get my elite wide receiver and take a chance on a quarterback. If I don't hit on the quarterback, fine. I don't hit on the quarterback, but I'm only getting 1 hit. So that is just my philosophy on that thing.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
You get that with everybody, right? Because at the same time, you could have went, in another league, we were talking about how you went Galladay, 2nd or 3rd round. right?
Right.
You could have won quarterback second, third round, and guess what? Galladay would have been trash, and your quarterback would have been on fire, right? You just at the end of the day, it's fantasy football. You have no idea what's gonna happen.
Right, but I'm not talking about injuries though. I'm not like this is just. I'm just talking about like, say for instance, the player plays. This is not about injury. I'm not. This is right. This is not an analysis about injury.
But
I'm talking about like if a player plays.
See, that's where I'm with P at right there, because let's say I get a receiver, right, at in the what round, fourth round, right? You're looking at the receiver in the fourth round may give you, depending on the receiver, obviously, may give you 15 points. If I go get Dak or any top quarterback, I'm gonna get 30 points. That's what I'm looking
at. Not necessarily, because if you all right, so check this out. Let me put
30 points.
Let me put some names.
Before quarterbacks are out, there are going to be quarterbacks right there in the fourth or the fifth round that no one touches. So you're going to have the Dak Prescotts, the Russell Wilsons, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jackson. The only guy that's probably going out there is Patrick Mahomes. That's going to be probably second round pick, right? Someone's going to sneak in second and third. We're talking about a guy. Every other quarterback at that point is going to have a list that's going to go down, right?
Right. No, I understand that. And I understand y'all philosophy on it. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying my philosophy is right. I'm not saying your philosophy is right. I'm just giving you another perspective to look at it. So say, for instance, all right, Patrick Mahomes in 2018, number one quarterback. Patrick Mahomes in 2019 finished as the number 8 quarterback, but he got drafted number 1 overall. Lamar Jackson, you know what I mean? Lamar Jackson got drafted in 2019 as the I think he was like one of the last quarterbacks in like round 13 and 14. That's where he was going. 2019, the dude is the number 1 quarterback. Like, you get what I'm saying? Same thing with Allen. Allen was not in the top 5 of quarterback the previous years. Matter of fact, 2018, he wasn't even like on the radar. 2019, didn't finish in the top 5. And now this year, he's the number 1. He was drafted in the 10th round. So what I'm saying is,
the one person you cannot talk about is Patrick Mahomes. You can talk about everybody else, progressing and degressing, but Patrick Mahomes was not that guy that degressed. Yeah, he probably was the number 8, but he was averaging about 30 points, fantasy points.
So let me say something. There's a commonality that we see with these quarterbacks, right? So the main thing that they have in common is that Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, they could all use their legs.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So if you notice that, if you have a quarterback that can use his legs, he's going to get more fantasy points.
Right.
And then when you factor in one that could also throw the ball and factor in one that has the talent around him or has a good receiver, then you're talking about a top tier level, quarterback.
Right.
So that's all the factors that you look in. So if you look down the line, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, Herbert in some cases, they're limited because they can't use their legs or they don't use their legs as much. You understand what I'm saying? So these quarterbacks that we're talking about, the Daks of the world, they're giving you those rushing touchdowns. They're giving you yardage foot yardage that's better than a lot of number 2 running backs.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get that, it's a preference. I would just want that one of those guys.
That's safe zone. Yeah, that's safe zone.
Yeah. That's how I see it.
What about
and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. But again, look at the leagues that we're all in together. Like, if anybody that drafted those quarterbacks early haven't won the championship yet.
I got you.
You notice that, right?
I got you.
Like, all the years playing this, anybody that drafted a quarterback in the top 5 rounds have not won a championship in any of the leagues.
Well, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Fantasy-wise, what are you looking at CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper out there? And also, who would you draft over who?
I'm CeeDee Lamb, man. He's a target for me. I like the dude's game, and to know that they didn't have a real offseason and they were able, him and Dak was able to develop that relationship. I think it's only going to grow this year when they have that, that off season where they can practice together and all that stuff. So I only see that relationship growing, and I think Amari Cooper is going to suffer from that. Don't get me wrong, Amari Cooper is still going to get his, he's like the silent killer. Like you don't. He's not somebody that's super exciting. But he every season you look at his numbers, have over 1,000 yards, have like 6, 7 touchdowns and everything like that. He's just a silent killer. But for me, I like CeeDee Lamb. He's going after Cooper, so I like his draft value. Like right now, CeeDee Lamb is going to the mid to the end of the 4th round, compared to Amari Cooper that's going in the beginning of that 4th round. I would rather wait on CeeDee Lamb in that 4th round than to draft Amari Cooper, just because of that ceiling and that growing relationship between him and Dak Prescott. That's just me, and the draft capital too. So that's it too.
GP.
Same. I'm more of a CeeDee Lamb fan. The downfall I had with Cooper, I've had him before in years past. Yeah. Overall, holistically, he performs, but he is a better version. I'm not saying game wise, but fantasy wise, he's a better version of Tyler Lockett, because Tyler Lockett has a lot of consistency, a ton of consistency. He has consistency. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cooper. So he'll give you like a 20 game and then give you a 10, and then he's not gonna be great, but he
right in that middle.
Right in that middle, but he does have some games where he disappears.
Yeah.
If he falls to me in the right round, I would consider it. But CeeDee Lamb, I think is going to finish, barring everybody's healthy. I think CeeDee Lamb finishes as the best receiver on that squad, even though he's going to be drafted after.
I agree with you. I'm going after CeeDee Lamb. More than I'm going after Cooper. CeeDee Lamb is being picked after Cooper. After Cooper.
What about Galladay, bro? Not Galladay. I'm sorry, Gallup. Gallup.
Listen, you know me. I was a fan of Gallup. That was before CeeDee Lamb kicked in, and I think once CeeDee Lamb kicked in, and Gallup is that third guy, man. He's not going to get the ball a lot unless he's not going to get that 15 to 20
3-4
points.
catches.
Yeah, 3-4 catches, and you better hope he explodes on those 3-4 catches. But we're not going to start him. You're not going to start a guy that's going to get you're not going to start a guy that's only going to give you 3-4. He's that bye week guy. And
right now, he's going in the 11th round, like at the end of the 11th round, the beginning of the 12th round. Yeah. His actual ADP is 11.10.
He's the injury guy. He's the guy that if CeeDee Lamb or Cooper gets injured, you put Gallup in.
Would you take a stab at him there? Other wide receiver in this area are Corey Davis,
nope.
Jalen Waddle, T.Y. Hilton, and let's see who else we have in these rounds here.
I would take those 3 over him already.
Mike Williams and Marvin Jones.
5.
Yeah, even Jameson Crowder. Yeah, they're all in that.
I would
early 12, late 11, early 12 round.
Yeah, I easy start him over. I easy pick them over him because he's the third
all of them?
guy. Yeah. If you think about it, let's run by
because Mike Williams is the second guy.
He's the second guy, right?
Crowder is probably the first guy on his team. Marvin Jones is the second.
Crowder, if I had to, but yes, I'll go after Crowder, Corey Davis. As you said, Marvin Williams, T.Y. Hilton. We don't know who's first over there, if it's Pittman or T.Y., but definitely picking either one of them over him too. So I just don't see. There's no reason to pick up Gallup before those guys.
I think T.Y. is probably going to have a redemption year, and the reason why I say he's going to have a redemption year because what does he do well?
Get down the field, and what
does Carson do well?
Throw that ball deep.
Throw that ball deep. So I think it's going to be.
Scared to either.
And he's not scared to. So I think T.Y. I think he like in Philly, which is going to be a good segue to the next team we're going to talk about. I think Philly, with Deshaun Jackson went down, that hurt him. You know what I mean? That hurt Wentz. So Wentz didn't have like a down the field target. Forgham came in, that's his name, right? Came in and tried, and he was successful for a few games, and then, he's not strong enough against these corners, and then these corners start taking them out of the game, and then they have nowhere to go with the ball. But I think T.Y. Hilton is a lot faster, a lot more dynamic, and I think he's going to have a redemption year, and I think they're going to use him to stretch the field, so he's not a bad pick at all.
Let's get into Philly, right?
Yeah.
Philly added Joe Flacco, Kerryon Johnson, Richard
could have left his name off the list.
I know, but still in addition, Boston Scott, Greg Ward, They drafted Devontae Smith in the first round, offensive lineman Landon Dickerson in the second, Milton Williams in the third for defensive tackle, a corner in the fourth round, and running back Kenneth Gainwell in the fifth round. Right? They have a lot of holes to fill. Right? Even with the draft and the additions in the free agency, they haven't even filled in the holes that they need right now. They still have holes out there. Jalen Hurts coming back for the second year, right? What do you think? Is he overdrafted, overrated? How do you feel like he's going to do this year?
It goes to PJ's point. Like, the new NFL and the new quarterbacks are legs. If you have legs for fantasy, you're going to be successful. You get me? So even though, all right, perfect example, Cam sucked last year. He sucked. But the dude still gave you some fantasy relevant points with the touchdowns and everything like that, right?
Not when you needed it, but yeah.
I know. Now when I just started in the wrong time. It's like me in the damn stock market recently. So yeah, man. I think Jalen's gonna have a decent year. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished as a top 15 quarterback because of his legs and because of his rushing touchdown. And for him, I think he's going to voucher a lot of rushing touchdowns from Sanders, which is another thing we're going to talk about. But just for him, I think he's going to have a really good, successful year for fantasy as far as, one of those Lamar Jackson kind of a year.
Yep.
But as far as football goes, I don't know because again they have so many holes, offensive all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he's gonna. But I think for fantasy, he's gonna have a good value. He's gonna have good value where you can start him either on a bye week. He's a good quarterback 2 to 3, like late 2 to 3 type deal. You know what I mean? So I think with his legs, he's gonna be valuable for fantasy.
What are you going with Miles Sanders on fantasy right now with them picking up Kenneth Gainwell? How do you feel Miles Sanders is doing? We saw a big trade in Dynasty League when Miles Sanders was traded, but what's your thoughts on Miles Sanders? Jordan Howard going back to Philly. What's your thoughts about this whole process?
I still think he's the number one, but it's like a Ravens situation, right? So you got a lot of running backs.
Yep.
You have a running back that can run the football. So you have to ask yourself, what are you going to get from him out there? What round is he going in? Probably like the fourth, right?
Yeah.
Sanders?
Yeah, Miles Sanders going in the fourth.
I'm looking. Can't find a dude anywhere.
I think he's a late.
He's going third, early third, beginning of the third, 3.6. So mid third.
I think he's a good fourth round guy. I would take him in the fourth. He's not someone that I'm scared to pick. I think that he's just getting a lot of bad press because of, he has a quarterback that can use his feet, and there's other guys that came in, but he's the best back there.
I agree with his talent. The talent is the best. He's the best talent on the team, but just them bringing in 3 running backs, the hell are you guys doing, right? Not only that, you have a running quarterback, right? So that's why I, waver on him. I'd probably take a Josh Jacobs before I take a Miles Sanders for me. That's just me though. Because I know Derek Carr is not going to voucher any touchdowns from Josh Jacobs, right? I know that Kenyon Drake is out there. I know Kenyon Drake is going to take a lot of the catches, and I know Kenyon Drake may voucher some touchdowns. But Boston Scott, Kerryon Johnson, you know what I mean? These guys can come in and take plays away from this dude, and Jalen Hurts is definitely going to do it. So that is what I'm scared of. I don't know how efficient that offense is going to be. So I have to see it, you know what I mean? And it's not like they have crazy weapons down the field to scare you out of the box, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that concerns me around there. Right there, if I have the choice between Sanders and, I don't know, Allen Robinson, which is going right after him, I'm taking Allen Robinson all day. And Scary Terry, I'm taking those 2 guys over him all day, and they're going after him.
Yeah, I agree with you that, man. We talked about the receiver course, right? Devontae Smith. right? First round pick. Where are you picking him? Is he fantasy worthy?
I think he's fantasy worthy because to me he's the only good receiver that they have, and there's a connection with him and the quarterback. So for him and Jalen Hurts, I would take him in the later rounds.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody that is on my radar for upside in the later rounds. I agree with you 100% on that, PJ. The thing about Smith, though, did we see what Rager can do? We really didn't, right? We really didn't see what he can do, considering he was injured and Wentz was running for his life majority of the season. So I don't know if he's going to be the one. I know the familiarity is there, but I don't know if he's going to be the one. I don't know if Rager's going to be the one. I don't know what they're going to do in regards to that wide receiver. That's one of those things that I want to see iron out in training camp to see where who is Jalen focusing on, right? If I see in training camp that they brought their connection over, and then that's when I'll I may need to get him early because I don't think he's going to be there, and that's where you're going to see his ADP just start skyrocketing like there's no tomorrow. So yeah, that's one of them that I'm looking at in training camp just to see that connection.
Do you think Dallas Goedert finally has his season in fantasy or not? Because the whole Zach Ertz situation may be being traded this season. Do you think it's Goedert's season team now as far as tight end goes?
I think you're pronouncing his name wrong. I think it's Goddard.
It's Goddard. Keep doing that. Man.
I know. Right now, man, I'm curious to see what they do with Zach Ertz, right? Because he's still on the squad, no matter how we want to slice it. I thought he would have been moved already, because there's a lot of teams that need a tight end, and that he would add significant value on, but yet they haven't moved him. So maybe they have a plan for him, and if they have a plan, if Zach Ertz stay and they're planning on doing a 12 personnel with the 2 tight end on the field, his fantasy value may take a hit. But if, say, for instance, if Zach Ertz got traded, and it's just Goddard, yeah, Goddard is top 10 tight end for sure. Matter of fact, I'll probably get him 6, 7, around there as far as the tight end, my tight end tree goes. So yeah, he will be somebody I'll look at if he's the only one there. Maybe if Hurts still there and I need a second tight end, then yeah, I'll probably look at him then. But if Hurts is still there, I think that could create some problem because it's a new quarterback now, and you never know.
All right, man. Let's get the fourth quarter, man. Locker Code Mel kicked in, right?
Yep.
So first question of the day is, who will emerge as Arizona's top fantasy running back, Connor or Edmonds?
All right, you want to take this one, PJ? And I'll go. I mean, I have my philosophy on this.
What do you think, man?
Oh man, who would emerge as it? Kyler Murray. That's who will emerge as the top fantasy running back. Honestly
speaking, I get you too.
I am not a James Conner fan at all. I'm not. I like Chase Edmonds. I'm not sure if he will emerge, but based on ADP and value, I would go Chase over Conner.
Chase is actually going before Conner in drafts.
Oh, see?
But with that said, I am going to say Conner. I'm not a fan of Conner, but I'm going to say Conner. And this is why I'm going to say Conner. If I saw last year when Chase came into the game and Drake is in the game, Drake took the pounding and whatever, and they need Chase on the third down. Chase performed. But when Drake went down and Chase had the reign, Chase did nothing. So that's why they ran out and was like, yo, you're not an every down back. We can't use you as an every down back. We need somebody to go between those tackles. And that's where I think Conner is going to be pound. The goal line touches, it's going to be Conner. The first and second down is going to be Conner. And I think that's where Conner is going to eat. The only drawback on Conner for me is the fact that the dude cannot stay on the field. The dude cannot stay on the field. He's always injured at some point in the season. Even if it's a 1 game, 2 game, 3 game, Connor is always injured. And that is the drawback for me. And that's the part that scares me. So if I have to pick one based on ADP, I'm going to take Connor because I think Connor is going to have most of the volume compared to Chase.
All right. Hunter Sony. Keep Brandon Ayuk or Damian Harris in the 16th round dynasty?
Can you say that again?
Keep Brandon Ayuk or Damian Harris in the 16th round of fantasy football?
The 16th round.
Yep.
Oof. For me, it's Ayuk. You already saw what Ayuk can do, man. You saw what he did last year. Last year, he was phenomenal. Like, he came in, I mean, he was a rookie. He's one of those wide receivers that perform. I know he got overshadowed by the Jeffersons of the world, but Ayuk wasn't bad. I had him on one of my fantasy teams, and the dude started performing. Right now, Brandon Ayuk is going in the 5th round, bro. Like, so if you have him available you got him last year in the 16th. Hey, dude, that's 10 rounds of value you're getting on Ayuk right now. Damian Harris out in New England. It's New England. It's New England backfield. New England backfield. Let me just say that. That's all I need to say about it. It's like New England backfield. Does anybody know? Does anybody ever? I don't even think. Who on New England team you want to draft this year? Nobody else. I feel good drafting.
That's what I was going to say. In a situation like that, look at the teams. You have certain teams that are just not good fantasy friendly.
Yeah, not fantasy. They win games, but they're just not.
But they're not fantasy friendly teams. New England is probably the best team at that.
I agree with you, man.
But not being a fantasy friendly team.
When they were fantasy relevant is when you have Welker on it, right?
Yep.
You know that the majority of the balls are going to go to Welker, right? You have the Tom Brady on it, right? Like, but you don't see that this year. You don't know where the ball is going to go. Who's going to start? Is it Cam? If it's Cam, god damn, you ain't getting none of your rushers, none of your pass catchers are relevant because he's going to vouch for the touchdown when he's in the red zone. So having Damian Harris is just like, for what? Like, you know?
There's no purpose. He's nothing right now, and there's no reason to go after him too or keep him.
So yeah, I definitely not Harris for me. I'll definitely take Ayuk. You getting 10 rounds of value on Ayuk at least. So Ayuk out there, you know, is going to get a lot of. And now that they have a good quarterback, whew, man.
So you think he's going to be that guy?
I mean, they have a good quarterback in San Francisco right now. Like, they have Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
All right, so
listen, I'm not going to disrespect any. I'm going to try to stop disrespecting these players because they're like a million years more talented than I am and everything like that. Don't matter how bad they are because they, you know, I heard somebody said it best and it's like, hey, you can say that they suck, but they're in the NFL.
Yeah.
And in order for you to be in the NFL, you have to be able to. You can play ball.
Yeah.
If you think about how many colleges are out there, right? And all these colleges having a 50, 53, 55, you know, depending on what college you go to, having a roster of that size, right? And these are the players that get picked to play in the NFL. These players are above all hundreds and thousands of other kids that were. You see them right now, you would think they were talented, right? And so I look at that and I was like, yo, these guys are still talented in the NFL. So I'm not gonna talk bad about them, but I would say compared to the people
peers.
Around you, your peers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garoppolo is just not up there. You suck compared to your peers.
Yeah.
All right, yo. So we got a couple more. This is crazy. Godfather 84 Dynasty League. Would you trade Kamara, Higgins, and Font for Cook and Waller?
Kamara, Higgins, and who was the last one?
Noah Font
for Cook and Waller.
I would say yes.
Yeah. I would say yes.
Studs. You're getting 2 studs.
You're just adding a third receiver in Higgins into the Kamara, Font, and Cook and Waller. I think you take that Cook and Waller. Easy.
You take it, yeah, easy.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that trade.
All
Because Kamara is unsure right now. Like right now, that's another like. I want to say there's probably like 5 running backs that are going in the first round that has like major question mark next to them.
Yeah,
major question mark, and that's why I said, man, like, yo, my strategy this year may be different. Like they have major question mark. I have a sure thing, like in my keepers, like it's. He's probably the only one that doesn't have a question mark.
You still
Derrick Henry.
Still trying to decide that when Dobbins.
Nah, but what I'm saying is he's the only one in the first round that you don't really have a major question mark against, right? Because if you think about him and Dalvin Cook, like if you think about Kamara, right? Kamara, what's his name? Jameis Winston doesn't check down, and if it's Taysom Hill, Kamara ain't getting those balls. Like, you see what I'm saying? Zeke, he looked lazy as hell. It just looked like he's checked out. I don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if it's just the line or what. So he has a question mark there. Barkley, his injuries, right? You know what I mean? So you're looking at these running backs, man. You have to question, like, these players are going to be the anchor for your team.
Right. Yep.
The anchor for your team. So you have to like really think about it. And I was like, man, who do I trust? Yeah. Who do I trust? You know, in the first round, like. The best players in the first round is probably going to be Jonathan Taylor. Even Christian McCaffrey, that's going first overall, has question marks, right? Yep. So you don't know. Like, he could aggravate this injury, and he's out a couple of games. So Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor are really it. And Nick Chubb. You know, that's really those. Not necessarily that they don't really have that question mark that like the other players do. Like, you know what I mean? The Zeke, the Saquon, the Alvin Kamara, those ones are concerning, and they're going as high as top 5, all of them. So that's crazy.
All right. So what do we? Next question is Akers for Fields. Akers for Fields and Swift. So
he's trading away Akers.
Traded Akers to receive Fields and Swift.
I wouldn't do it.
If I don't know anything else about the team, I wouldn't do it either.
Nothing
All right. If I don't know anything, like I would want to know who his quarterback
is. Yeah.
Right. Does he have, and now I need to know if it's a dynasty league or what.
It's a dynasty league, and assumption is that he has a quarterback. I mean, I'm assuming because he's going after a rookie quarterback and feels that most likely we don't know if he's going to start or not. So he's probably looking at future. He's probably looking at, hey, let me get a top quarterback that's going to be out there and a young running back in Swift.
But you have that with
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers, that he just doesn't have a young quarterback.
Yeah, man. Cam Akers has a more pronounced role in his offense. He's in a better offense, and I think he's going to get majority of those touches this year. Compared to Swift out there right now, the coaching staff doesn't believe in Swift as being like an all-around back. Like, they're thinking about Swift moving him around, using him more as a wide receiver than anything else. You know, Williams is about to take those first and second down touches. So he's sharing the backfield there. Fields not going to start. Coach constantly coming out telling everybody, hey, he's not starting. So you're probably going to get, I don't know, 2/3 of the year out of Fields. And maybe Fields blow up. Maybe he doesn't. Like, you know what I mean? We don't know. Right now, everybody's acting like every rookie quarterback are great. There are quarterbacks there are a bunch of quarterbacks that were drafted top 5 that are duds. Yep. Like, they suck, like, easily. So that's not a sure thing either. So right now, you already saw Cam Akers. You know what he can do at the end of the season. You saw what he can do. He's in a really, really great offense. And I wouldn't do that trade. Not at all.
All right, man. We get into AFC West Division draft.
Whew. I didn't even think about this bit. All right. What are teams? What position are we drafting first? All right, let's draft tight end first.
Yeah, we'll go tight end first.
Tight end.
Let's go tight end first.
Jeez, I don't even want to pick first. Y'all can go ahead. I don't even know what's out there for tight end.
I'm going to go Goddard, tight end.
Yeah. Jeez, there's nobody out there.
Yeah, I'll go Goddard.
Yeah. I think this is going to be an identical team.
Yeah,
actually, maybe not.
It's not. It's not.
It definitely won't. It won't be an identical team.
All right, so Goddard all the way through, right?
Yep.
All right, we got Goddard all the way through. All right, what we got next? Wide receivers.
Wide receivers. Go ahead, TJ.
Give me no. Terry McLaurin.
There you go, man. Terry McLaurin for me too. Like I was like, well, I told you we're gonna have an identical team here.
I already know who's gonna be the quarterback, so it's not
right.
really a choice.
Dak is gonna be the quarterback, right?
Be the quarterback. So we got Terry over here, scary,
and Barkley's gonna be the running back. Like
Barkley's gonna be the running back.
Like I already see the mere fact that I picked Goddard and then y'all agreed to it. I was like, damn.
Because there's nobody out there as far as tight end goes, so it's always going to be that scary. I mean, if anything, we would probably switch up to be Scary or Curtis Samuel, but we obviously know Scary's going to have a better fantasy breakout than Samuel's going to have. So, definitely.
Say for instance, you didn't go that route, right? Say for instance, you didn't go that route. What's another route? What another route you would go with top four?
As far as wide receiver. Or in general?
No, in general, like four players, another combination.
I would go Ryan. I would Fitzpatrick, Saquon, CD Lamb, and Goddard.
And Goddard.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that one's good. There's no other tight end here that's worth. Well, I mean, you could go Logan Thomas.
No one's going Logan, bro. No one's going Logan. Don't do that.
Wait, bro. Wait.
The reason why you said you will go Logan Thomas because you literally don't like tight ends, bro.
Yeah, so, you could go Logan Thomas.
You can go Logan Thomas.
Saquon.
No.
Jack.
And who? Who's going to be your receiver from Philly?
Devontae Smith.
So you would basically pick Devontae Smith.
No, we're just saying another combination, bro. And another combination that's worth considering is. You know what I mean?
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'll sacrifice. I'm not putting Logan Thomas on my squad. I'm sorry, bro.
Hey, you saw the connection between Gesicki and Fitzpatrick, man.
Yeah, but that's a different breed over there with Scary Terry and Curtis Samuel out there.
Yeah, I feel like because Curtis Samuel is so dynamic, which I didn't know. I always thought Curtis Samuel was like a long ball wide receiver. But because he's so dynamic, I think he's going to take some of those passes away from Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
Remember last game was like a Thursday night game. I forgot who they were playing, and we were like, yo, they had a great defense, and I was like, yo, who's going to have that breakout game is going to be Curtis Samuel. Because they were going to lock down Scary Terry, and then all of a sudden, Curtis Samuel was just, I think, 20 points or something like that.
Curtis wasn't on the team.
No, I'm talking about sorry, not Washington. I'm sorry.
You're talking about it. Yeah, no, I remember that. Where he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game. Yeah, I remember that.
He had like a run for like 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Before everybody kind of caught on to him, was like, yo, let's stop that. And then that's when, DJ Moore started picking back up on the squad, and Robbie Anderson started picking back up. But, if they do it right, Curtis Samuel is going to be a threat for Washington.
All right.
You gotta rock it.
Cool. Yeah,
right,
I agree.
Man. That's it for us. My dude. Shout-outs?
Man. Shout out to my man PJ, man. I'm jealous. We'll talk off the year about that.
Shout out to me.
Shout out to PJ.
Shout out to PJ. One of our boys dropped something in the chat today, and it brought me back. That's all I can say.
What's up?
Brought me back. That's my shout out, man. That's my shout out.
All right, man. Shout out to everybody, man. It's fantasy season, man. We're trying to get everything.
Fantasy season, man. Yeah, we're trying to get everything back up and running and get ready again. Ready again.
Plus, in a couple of weeks, we're gonna be at the Dolphins camp. Hopefully, PJ,
you coming?
You coming, right, P? Yeah, he coming. He can't.
He coming.
I ain't say yes yet, bro.
Yo, he coming, bro. That's gonna be his first Miami Dolphin hat, bro.
I heard the Dolphins may practice with another team too, so we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I don't think they came out with who the team is yet.
No, they didn't say. They didn't say what team. There's just rumors that they're going to practice with another team.
Yeah.
So that would be good. But it's a team that they won't play this year, though.
Yeah.
Right. It's a team that they won't be playing this year.
They have a brand new facility down there right next to the stadium now.
Right.
Just update instead of them going to Nova.
They're not at Nova anymore?
Nah, they're not at Nova
anymore. No,
so
they're not
the
at Nova.
Camp starts for everybody to walk in is going to be at Hard Rock Stadium, right on their location. So I think they spent like $200 million on that new field. So it's dope. So we're going to see it. We're going to be out there. Locker Code will be out there. You know what I'm saying? So,
yep.
Check out for those updates. Check us out on lockercode.com for all your fantasy needs, sitting starts, waiver wire pickups, man. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram. Ask us questions, man, and we'll see you Monday for
Battle Monday.
Battle Monday.
Again, yo. You know what I mean? All right,
fellas.
Yeah.
All right.